My name is Catherine Bennett. As a senior manager at a major investment firm, I earn $180,000 a year. I maintain a disciplined routine, waking up at 5 a.m. daily to practice yoga, and I'm ready for work by 7 a.m. Sometimes, I find solace from my complicated family relationships by tending to the herb garden in my backyard. It's been 3 years since my father passed away. The $3 million inheritance has been dwindling at an alarming rate, thanks to my mother Patricia and my sister Amanda. Looking back, our family began to change the day my father collapsed from a heart attack. In my home office, where morning light streams through the windows, I'm working quietly on my laptop. Despite it being the weekend, I need to finish some urgent projects. Outside, a warm early summer breeze blows through our upscale Greenwich neighborhood. In this quiet residential area, we Bennetts were known as successful people. It had been that way since my father's time, and my mother desperately tries to maintain that status. On my desk, next to the elegant white curtains swaying in the breeze, sits the last photo taken with my father. He's showing his warm smile, and our family looks happy beside him. Back then, we never imagined days like these would come. Kathy, could you come down for a moment? My mother's voice calls from downstairs. Sighing, I get up from my chair and head down to the living room, where a familiar scene awaits me. The expensive marble table, Italian leather sofa, and impressionist paintings on the walls, everything seems to scream upper class. Mother sits on the sofa, dressed in the latest Gucci dress, absorbed in online shopping on her iPad. Her youthful appearance is the result of regular spa treatments and expensive cosmetic procedures. Next to her, my sister Mandy is taking selfies. "This angle will get lots of likes," she mumbles while retaking photos multiple times. She calls herself an Instagram influencer with 20,000 followers, though it's an open secret within the family that most are purchased fake accounts. "Hey, Kathy," Mother says cheerfully. "We've made wonderful plans." A sense of foreboding washes over me. Lately, Mother's wonderful plans always seem to directly impact my wallet. The Grand Wailea Resort in Maui. I've already made the reservations. $7,000 per person. Mother announces this as casually as if she were counting loose change in her purse. The Grand Wailea Resort, perfect for upper-class people like us, don't you think? "Oh, I need to post this," Mandy exclaims. I took this with my new Louis Vuitton bag. The photo she shows me features her beaming next to the bag purchased last week using my card. Rather than anger at her unauthorized use of my card again, I feel resignation. I silently watch the two of them. Since Father's death, Mother and Mandy have become lost in a life of luxury. High-end brands, fancy restaurants, overseas trips, almost all paid for with my income. Sometimes, my hard-earned bonuses from working late into the night disappear instantly due to their impulse purchases. "We're upper class," that was Mother's constant refrain. But who's really supporting this upper-class lifestyle? The inheritance Father left is almost gone. All that remains is this house and my salary. At that moment, something inside me shifted quietly but definitively. Until now, I'd convinced myself it was my responsibility to support the family. Perhaps I'd misunderstood Father's last words, "Take care of the family." But I've reached my limit. While Mother browses resort photos and Mandy remains absorbed in her selfies, I quietly return upstairs to my study. On my computer screen are statements from multiple credit cards opened in Mother and Mandy's names, all fraudulently created under my identity. The total amount, $150,000. This is the evidence of debt that has gradually accumulated since Father's death. I steel my resolve. For the sake of the justice and honesty that Father valued so deeply, I must take action. A Mercedes-Benz S-Class glides into the airport terminal. As the driver opens the rear door, Mother steps out gracefully. Her Hermes scarf flutters in the morning breeze, and Chanel sunglasses hide her haughty expression. "My, how crowded," she remarks disdainfully, surveying her surroundings. At 8 a.m., the airport is already bustling with travelers. Weekend flights to Hawaii are always busy. "Mom, this lighting isn't good for Instagram." Mandy, emerging from the car, immediately starts taking selfies. Her Louis Vuitton carry-on rolls smoothly across the airport floor, followed by 3 more suitcases and 2 trunks from the same brand, all from the latest collection. As I step out of the car, I thank the driver politely. When I try to tip him, he shakes his head slightly. Ms. Bennett has already taken care of it. I nod quietly at his words. Pushing the luggage cart, we head to the check-in counter. Mother and Mandy's conversation echoes through the morning airport lobby. "Kathy, where's the first-class lounge? I bought a new swimsuit too. Perfect for photo shoots." Their voices draw curious glances from nearby travelers. At the check-in counter, Mother naturally takes the lead. "Good morning. Patricia Bennett. I have first-class reservations to Hawaii." The ground staff politely checks the computer for the reservation. Mother suddenly turns to me. "There's no ticket for you. Just paying for the trip is enough." Mother's voice drips with unfathomable arrogance, as if this were perfectly normal. Mandy chimes in with her high-pitched voice, "Every trip needs a sponsor, right?" They exchange meaningful glances and giggle together. Their laughter strengthens my resolve. A week at the Grand Wailea Resort. They plan to spend an elegant vacation there. The announcement was already posted on Instagram. As Mother starts to point out the suitcases to the airport staff, I quietly speak up. "You're right. Since I don't have a ticket, I won't be going." At those words, Mother and Mandy's smiles instantly vanish. "Have a good trip, both of you." With a gentle smile, I slowly turn to leave. "Kathy. Wait." Mother's voice echoes through the airport lobby. But I don't look back. I feel the weight of Father's lesson about living honestly on my shoulders. This isn't the end. Rather, it's a new beginning. As I get into the Mercedes, the driver quietly asks, "Take care." I nod slightly and gaze out the window. Morning sunlight bathes the terminal building, heralding the dawn of a new day. The scorching Maui sun brilliantly illuminates the pristine white walls of the Grand Wailea Resort. Mother's posture shows no signs of flight fatigue, testament to years of upper-class living. "We've arrived," Mother proudly announces as she steps into the lobby. The open space is pleasantly cooled by Hawaiian breezes. Expensive furniture, exotic plants, and perfect lighting speak to the establishment's prestige. Mandy already has her smartphone ready. The sunlight reflecting off the marble floor softly illuminates her tired face. "Mrs. Patricia Bennett?" The front desk staff greets them with a perfect smile. Mother removes her sunglasses and nods gracefully. "I have an ocean view suite reserved, with private pool and butler service." "Certainly. May I see your credit card and identification?" Mother gracefully presents a platinum card. The slight tremor in her hand isn't just from the long flight. "I'm sorry, but this card." The front desk staff's voice instantly changes Mother's expression. "Let me try another card." Mother frantically searches through her bag. American Express, Visa, MasterCard. All platinum or black premium cards. But with each card she tries, the staff's apologetic expression remains unchanged. "There must be some mistake. I'll call Kathy right away." For the first time, panic creeps into Mother's voice. Mandy desperately works her smartphone too. "Mom, my cards aren't working either." The sight of them frantically operating their phones is far from their usual upper-class elegance. What's happening?" Mother's near scream echoes through the lobby. Her account balance, just $326. Mandy's account, only $58. The color drains from their faces. Instagram. "My account is." Mandy's cry continues. Her account, boasting 20,000 followers, has been suddenly suspended. The presence of purchased fake accounts has been reported to the platform. "I can't reach Kathy's phone either." Other guests in the lobby watch the situation with curious eyes. The upper-class facade crumbles with an almost audible crash. As we have other guests waiting. The front desk staff remains unfailingly polite, but their tone carries a hint of coldness. "But our reservation." "I'm sorry, but without a valid form of payment, we cannot accommodate your stay." At that moment, Mandy's legs give out. As she collapses onto a luxury sofa, Mother continues desperately working her phone. "This is a dream." "Yes, just a bad dream." Mother's mumbling takes on an increasingly realistic tone. "Mom, this photo." At Mandy's trembling voice, Mother turns around. Her smartphone displays their last photo at the airport. In it, Catherine's departing figure shows a serene smile, as if she had known everything all along. "She couldn't have." Mother's words dissolve into the lobby air. The bright tropical sunlight ironically illuminates the dark reality of the moment. A Maui Police Department patrol car smoothly pulls up to the Grand Wailea Resort's main entrance at 3:15 p.m. Against the backdrop of the sparkling ocean, the blue and white patrol car's lights flash. The ominous atmosphere prompts tourists relaxing by the pool to simultaneously reach for their phones. What is the meaning of this? Mother's voice trembles. Mandy, still slumped on the luxury sofa, has no tears left to cry. Several security staff stand guard around them. 2 police officers enter the lobby in uniform, an older white male and a young female officer. Both wear stern, professional expressions. Mrs. Patricia Bennett and Ms. Amanda Bennett? The senior officer addresses them politely but firmly. Yes, that's US. What's this about? Mother's voice still carries a trace of haughtiness. The "we're upper class" mindset hasn't completely disappeared. I'm Officer Johnson from the Maui Police Department, and this is Officer Morrison. The officer presents his badge and continues. We need to speak with you both about serious allegations. At these words, the tourists in the lobby focus even more intently. Smartphone cameras are clearly pointed in their direction. Allegations? Are you suggesting we're criminals? Mother's voice cracks. Behind her luxury brand sunglasses, her eyes begin to dart around. You are both suspected of credit card fraud and identity theft. The officer's calm voice resonates through the lobby. The complainant is Catherine Bennett. At that moment, Mandy lets out a scream. Her. But we're family. I'll detail the specific charges. The young female officer opens her notebook. Over the past 3 years, you are suspected of fraudulently creating credit cards in Catherine Bennett's name and using them for payments totaling over $150,000. Additionally, you are suspected of forging her signature when creating these cards. Each fact pierces their hearts like cold arrows. Furthermore, you allegedly withdrew funds from the victim's bank accounts without authorization, using them for expensive purchases and travel, totaling approximately $85,000. The last traces of color drain from Mother's face. This must be a mistake. Yes, it has to be. We're upper class. Mrs. Bennett, the lieutenant interrupts quietly but firmly. These charges are all based on concrete evidence. The officer produces a tablet and shows the screen. It displays forged documents with Mother and Mandy's signatures, security camera footage, and bank transaction records, all neatly organized. Among the records is the receipt for the luxury bag Mandy purchased just last week. Catherine's signature is clearly imitated. But it's all family money. Mandy suddenly shouts. If my sister earned it, we have the right to use it. Her words draw sighs from those around them. The young female officer's expression momentarily hardens. Ms. Amanda Bennett, creating credit cards in someone else's name is a crime. Even if they're family. I have a lawyer, Mother suddenly exclaims. I'll contact them right away. She tries to take out her smartphone, but the screen remains unresponsive. All accounts are frozen, and no calls can be made. You both have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, a public defender will be. A public defender? Mother sharply interrupts. We're upper class. This is. At that moment, Mandy suddenly stands up. Did she report my Instagram account too? The lieutenant nods slightly. Purchasing fake accounts violates the platform's terms of service. It was reported with evidence. Mandy's legs nearly give out again. We'll need you both to come with us to the police station. The lieutenant's voice carries an odd gentleness. His years of experience probably tell him what awaits this mother and daughter. We'll do our best to be discreet. However, this consideration proves futile as smartphone cameras mercilessly capture their images. The sight of the mother and daughter in their luxury brands being escorted by police creates an ironically picturesque scene. 3 months after the incident, Mother and Mandy sit in the defendant's box, completely stripped of their former glamour. Their thin orange prison uniforms stand in stark contrast to their preferred designer brands. Patricia's face is bare of makeup as she looks down, while Mandy's eyes are swollen from crying. The prosecution's opening statement is clear and concise. The defendants fraudulently used the identity of their own daughter and sister, the victim, causing substantial financial damage. More importantly, this wasn't a momentary lapse in judgment, but a planned crime carried out over 3 years. Mother's lawyer pleaded for leniency. After her husband's death, the defendant Patricia Bennett was in an unstable mental state. Unable to suddenly lower her long-maintained standard of living, she was in a state of diminished capacity. However, the prosecution countered mercilessly. The defendants skillfully concealed evidence to avoid detection by the victim. The application documents for each credit card contain meticulously forged signatures. This clearly shows premeditation. A mountain of evidence is presented. It includes numerous notes practicing my signature, emails documenting correspondence with card companies, and even a detailed financial plan created by Mother. Everything substantiates the planned nature of the crime. What's more egregious is the psychological abuse of the victim. The prosecutor's voice echoes through the courtroom. The defendants referred to the victim as their wallet and continuously took advantage of her goodwill. Mandy's lawyer tried to emphasize her youth. The defendant Amanda Bennett was under her mother's strong influence. Objection overruled, the judge's voice was stern. The defendant is an adult with full capacity for judgment. Her false display of lifestyle on social media shows no signs of remorse. I took the witness stand, dressed in a black suit, maintaining a dignified demeanor. Did you offer the defendants an opportunity for settlement? The judge asks. Yes. Immediately after the incident was discovered, I proposed through my lawyer. The conditions were full repayment and a public apology. How did the defendants respond? I took a deep breath and answered. Mother refused, saying it would ruin our upper-class reputation. My sister claimed it would damage her career as an Instagrammer. A small murmur ripples through the courtroom. The judge gavels for silence. Defendant Patricia Bennett, 4 years imprisonment. Defendant Amanda Bennett, 2 years imprisonment. Both sentences to be served in full. Mother lets out a small moan, and Mandy begins to cry silently. Additionally, I order restitution of $235,000 in total damages. Both defendants are also prohibited from creating credit cards for 5 years after release. 1 year after the verdict. At the Connecticut State Women's Correctional Facility, Mother works as a cleaner. She now quietly performs the cleaning duties she once scorned as lower-class work. No friends come to visit her. The former social butterfly has completely withered away. Mandy's facility has relatively lenient security measures. However, phone and internet use are strictly restricted. Of her once 20,000 followers, only 84 remain, most of them volunteers involved in prison rehabilitation programs. The Greenwich mansion has been sold through voluntary liquidation to new owners. The proceeds went toward restitution payments. Those two will never return to that house that once symbolized their upper-class status. I've rented a new apartment in Manhattan. On holidays, I walk through Central Park, which Father loved so much during his lifetime. Sometimes, memories of him well up inside me. Take care of the family. I think I finally understand the meaning of Father's last words. It wasn't about supporting the family's luxurious lifestyle, but about having the courage to live honestly. The other day, I received a letter from the prison. It was from Mother. The letter asked me to come visit, but I quietly fed it through the shredder. The enclosed photo showed Mother in her work uniform. Her expression still retained a hint of arrogance. I also returned Mandy's Christmas card unopened. I have no intention of seeing either of you again. A draft of a letter with these words sits in my new desk drawer. But there's no need to send it. My silence is the most eloquent response. Since then, I've been promoted to senior director at the investment firm. From my office window, I can see Manhattan's skyscrapers. That view reminds me of the value of living honestly that Father taught me.